Hello friends and welcome to Chadowfax Games. I am playing TR-49. For a second I had to pause and think about the title because it's just a series of letters and numbers. So I'm potentially an AI named Abby, potentially based on the inventor's daughter, or the inventor's daughter uploaded, if I remember correctly from the last time I was playing. I still don't have all the characters down in my head, but I'm digging through an archive of documents to try and find a specific document. It seems like this machine was capable of editing reality. Basically I just need to follow clues from document to document to see what I can find. And right now I know that Academicalist Journal 16 and 36 are probably in here. These other ones are probably in here too. Now, one of the things that I'm concerned about is there may not be every single Academicalist journal in here, and also it was paused during the Second War. Now, I'm not sure if that Second War, the dates of that, align with the dates of World War II in real life or not. I haven't determined that, but I'm hoping there'll be clues in the games to guide me that way. I'm not sure what these red dots mean. I suspect they mean there's more that I can pull out of those entries. I hope, in fact, that that's what that means. But, so I'm on Academicalist Journal number 7, which is 32, the year it was published. So, assuming we're not skipping years, Academicalist Journal 16 would be 9 years later, so 41? AJ 41, so let's give that a try. I don't know if you can see, in fact, I know you can't see it, so let me...
I can get the title that goes with this one.
Thank you, I'm talking to the audience, so you don't need to give me information. Let's try this. Yeah, so that's probably the best place for my face, because behind here is a log of how many possible documents and titles and such there are to find. So, yes, this is Academicalist Journal.
Okay, let's see.
16, which should be AJ 41.
Academicalist Journal, issue 16.
Yep.
The daughter disappeared.
But she stole something from the archive, and the thing she stole, that's still out there.
Alright. That we have printed this as a miracle, I do not wish to be shot for it. I choose to be shot for far more serious matters. 1941, Europe is at war, Paris is occupied, but the journal is writing about antler patterns and mistletoe under the baleful eye of the Third Reich. They couldn't hold out. They went dark after this until France was liberated. Okay, so until France was liberated, so that's going to be the date they come back for later issues. So this is the last issue. So this is 16, this is the last issue. There's a brief mention of a DME book, Internal Oversight.
Internal Oversight.
DME. Published that year, but they don't say by who. I think a full review is in issue 17.
Academicalist Journal, issue 17.
Also, a belated attack on Pink and Kendrick's doomed follow-up to Temporality Waits for No Man. Deserved, probably. Though they liked the one before, I shouldn't feed in any more of those things anyways.
Temporality Waits for No Man.
Okay, so, Pink and Kendrick's, let's I'm trying. I really should have played this like more all at once because I've lost a lot of the plot from. Pink and Kendrick. Okay, so time and temporality is 36. Okay, so this is giving me PK 37. Let's give it a try.
Legend tells us there must be 2 men in every love.
Okay, so this is probably time and
Okay,
temporality?
let's see.
Or temporality waits for no man?
Temporality waits for no man.
Okay,
Legend tells us there must be 2 men in every love triangle. But there is only him and 2 of us. We fight like dragons beneath the earth.
okay, so that's probably hard to hear because the volume is so soft, but legend tells us there must be 2 men in every love triangle. But there is only him and 2 of us, and we fight like dragons beneath the earth. The chaser to PK 36s. Nope, nope.
Juliet Basingstoke stood before her lover and knew in a moment of clarity like white glass that she was making a mistake, and she turned. Legend tells us there must be 2 men in every
Sorry,
love triangle.
I've seen PK 36 before, so
There is only him
the chaser to
and 2 of
PK
us.
36 is shot. Rivalries, betrayals.
Dragons
No one gets what they
beneath the earth.
deserve, and they never forget it. Kendrick is said to have been inspired by AT-49, but I can't see it. It said that this novel was the moment Emma McFleur fell in love with Kendrick. Probably why his 3rd book took him longer to write. So hang on. So Emma McFleur. Where's she at? No. Here's Pink and Kendrick. Do I not have Emma McFleur in here? Interesting. Okay. Enter code to expand. Additional user. Additional log 1960 Beatrice. Beatrice. What's Beatrice's?
All right then.
Emma McFleur. Okay, so she's in love with Pinkerton. Beatrice. Married to Cecil. What's Cecil's last name? Maybe that will give me... So, Emma Calderly, possibly. So let's try... Oh, it's got dialogue for me.
If the book we're after was stolen, then it must be possible to get books out, right?
Right. There must be a control command somewhere.
Okay. We're gonna try Beatrice Calderly 60. Nope. I bet it goes off her maiden name, Elise. What do we know about Elise? McClure, Silverton, Beatrice. So I need to know Beatrice's last name, Alfonso. Xavier. Elise Calderly. Daughter of the Machine's creators, Cecil Caldery and Beatrice, abandoned tribe in 1985. So Elise is AC for sure. AC 85.
There's nothing here. It's worthless.
Okay, so this is Elise Calderly, 85. My father wrote about the things inside this machine like they were angels in heaven, but they're nothing. I fed in 3 books he would have loved. Notes and Discoveries.
Notes and Discoveries.
Thank you.
Doom Wild.
Too wild. So my guess is that Elise uploaded herself basically into this machine as Abby. Men must devour.
Men must devour.
Shredded them page by page. It's the worst kind of stupid. Look at the comment on GA00. GA00? BE47 thought to include this book as a reference point. Should it change? We will, I hope, no. Then again, perhaps it is already too late. Things are in motion under fine, unwinking gaze. I apologize for spurious author and date. It made me spurious author and date. It made me chuckle. The machine has taken it more seriously. BE47 thought to include this book. Elise 1919. BE47.
Alice coldly stole a book from this thing and then vanished.
She's not important. The book, however, is.
Cecil is a dear, but he does not understand that if this machine of ours is to think, it must be wise. You cannot compute in a vacuum tube. So I have been feeding it the classics, and of course, he has been releasing them again. Well, dear, I have sealed that option up behind the name of the creation we haven't made yet. Checkmate, CC11. Beatrice, the Fuller, is the cleverest woman alive, and also surely the most beautiful. I can only hope she does not find this annotation before I finally ask her to marry me. No, Dueler? Beatrice Dueler? Ooh, yeah, it's gonna change again, isn't it? So I need to find the Dueler. Beatrice Dueler, I think. Let's check the notes, see if that actually added that. Probably not. Beatrice Dueler. Yep, okay. So what was that other code I was looking for then?
Oh, back here again.
Yep.
Try something else?
No. Previous. So Dueler, Beatrice Dueler.
There's nothing here. It's worthless.
Look at the card he wrote the year before he died. Yeah. So I'll need to figure out the year he died. Hang on, but I still want to follow up on that other one. So Beatrice Dueler.
Legend tells us there must be two men in every love triangle. But there is only him and two of us. And we fight like dragons beneath the earth.
Beatrice Dueler, 1960, that's what. Nope. Guess not.
How does one get a book out of this thing anyway?
That's a very good question. One we should try to answer.
Oh dear, CC11, if only you read more poetry books and spent less time tearing them up in front of little AL12. I've added Shallot 35. It seems to me the machine likes that one. It sings a bit out loud. Okay, so this is Cecil, this is Beatrice, and these are ways to open the... Got it. Okay. So I'm beginning to understand. Cecil, Beatrice, AL12. Okay, my mother was so hard on him towards the end, I know he retreated from her. She felt betrayed by it, but what else could she do? So Beatrice is B47, Cecil is CC11, AL12. Okay. I'm understanding that to unlock these notes you need to put in the username, basically. Alright, so let's try and go back. So let's try BE47. This darling machine now has entire copies of Kendrick's 3 most terrible novels, Time and Temporality. Temporality waits for no man. Honestly, at this rate, I hope Cecil hasn't damaged it. Poor beast. So what was AL? What was Elise's code? AL12. Nope. AL12. So now I know how to unlock the notes. Why is it all these books turn out to be true, or a bit true, or almost true, or contradicting each other and still true? Doom comes to the doctorate too. Has no one any imagination?
Doom comes to the doctorate.
Has no one got any imagination anymore? Or, oh Christ. Okay. Alright, so I'm getting some titles. I finally understand how to unlock these notes. So Elise is AL12. Yep. Are those
Okay,
gonna be
let's see.
noted in? No, they're not noted in. Okay. Alright, but I kind of want to...
Tell me how you found this place.
Alright. Some people grow up with Narnia and Wonderland. I grew up with this place, with stories of a better world, held within the dreams of a machine.
Who told you these stories? Your dad?
No. My mother. Beatrice.
Your mum built this?
Oh, she designed its memory, apparently. She made it sound like magic. The other machines could store a few lines, and this thing could hold entire libraries. Every dot of a printed picture.
She must have been smart.
She was.
So, If your mum built this thing, how come you don't know how it works?
Well, they were stories. I didn't really know they were true.
So, what brings you down here now?
Mum told me the machine was underground, but not where. I was tracing power currents, old lines that no one else knows are there. I only just found it.
Your mum didn't want you to come down here.
She didn't like this place. She said it killed her first husband and took her daughter away.
It killed your dad.
Not my dad. My dad came along after Cecil died.
What was your dad's name?
Henry.
I don't know my dad's name. Oh, it's a revision. This, what we're doing. That's why I don't know you or how I got here or anything.
Yeah, it's a revision.
Revisions always feel like this. Like dreams you can't wake up from.
You know what revisions feel like.
Of course I do. Doesn't everyone?
I suppose they do.
Alright, so now that I know how to unlock notes, let's go and look at some of these titles I've already unlocked.
Welcome to the home of rational thoughts. Let's begin with the introduction.
Okay. This is Academicalist Journal 26. So this 89, what is this? It's not Academicalist Journal 89, but let's check this out. So Cecil has a note here. So that's CC11. The journal would run for 45 years and 37 issues under the steady hand of its editor, the redoubtable Monsieur Latour, who only retired the year before he died. It was assumed it would afterwards pass to his daughter, but it didn't. She wrote a short, rather angry pamphlet on the subject, On a Life Unlived, 2 years after he passed.
On a Life Unlived.
Alright. I haven't got that yet. List exists for this publisher. Um... 37 issues, so the time jump, let's just do the math here. We also have Monsieur Latour, who published this. And his daughter wrote a short pamphlet. The journal would run for 45 years and 37 issues. So that's 8-year time skip. So that's an 8-year time skip, unless we're skipping more than just the...
Liam, why did they call me Abby? Do you know?
Because Calderley liked codes and puns and crosswords. Don't you get it?
No.
You were built under a cathedral. So they called you Abby.
Christ, that's disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose it is. Hey, at least you weren't built in a sewer, or they might have called you Flo.
That was a good joke.
Oh.
Sorry.
Alright, so I think I can potentially get to, let's look at my list. I think it's an 8-year time skip for the war. So, Academicalist Journal 17 should be 8 years later. So, AJ 49. Nope. Maybe one off. Or AJ 48. Nope. Okay, so I was wrong. What if we went with the actual end of World War II, right? This AJ 45 should be Academicalist Journal AJ 17.
Academicalist Journal, issue 17.
So, my real-life knowledge of history barely pays off a little.
The enemy has
The enemy-
gone. The sun shines down on this free nation. We have persevered. It is a thing most glorious.
France is free, which means the gloves are off. The Academicalist Journal also claims they won the war through the use of concurrent energies and actualizations. Pierre Latour, so we have the editor now, the irascible editor of the journal's 37 issues, eventually writes a full account, a life lived in wartime, published a year after his death.
A life lived in wartime.
Okay, so let's think about this. Academicalist Journal 26. So this is AJ 45. Okay, hang on. CC 11. Oh, this is nothing. Okay, so anyways, France is free, which means the gloves are off. The Academicalist Journal also claims they won the war through the use of concurrent energies and actualization. Pierre Latour, the irascible editor of all the journal's 37 issues, eventually writes a full account, a life lived in wartime, published a year after his death. After that, they accuse Isambard Arkalovich of writing under a pseudonym and of ignoring 1,000 years of research into ley lines in his Rampage Series 1942 conclusion. They finally report on Thaddeus Detzer's internal oversight in detail. I've already read the book, Words to Live By.
What is it like out there? You said I don't know, and you're right. I don't, so tell me what it's like.
It's like every good idea dies on the vine while every bad idea sticks around. My mum used to say, in every bad situation, look to the helpers. But the helpers are getting arrested. The helpers keep getting shot.
Then let's do what we're doing and get it done.
Let's do that.
Alright, so Isambard Arkalovich, Rampage Series 1942. I'm gonna try IA-42, but I don't think it'll work because they said he was writing under a pseudonym. Yeah, it worked.
Rampage.
Okay. The final novel in Eisenberg Arklovovich's 10-year rampage cycle sees strands from the previous 6 novels brought back together in a reflection of the original novel. An impressive feat after 10 years, though one that rather taxes the reader's memories and patience. Personally, I found this an underwhelming follow-up to Alienation, which will be the 5th one.
Alienation.
Where is Giupiov's great insight? Where is her pluck? She moves into servitude like the most mindless of slaves. Sir Lancelot beckons and she follows in the chat, and that is the whole of the plot. Arklovovich's insistence that he was writing from experience did him no favors on this account either. No matter what manner of poor unfortunate he was describing, a 40-year-old does not kiss and tell. The work was, of course, banned in most corners of the world. I would like to stress that the copy collected here is for historical curiosity rather than artistic appreciation. Okay, so Alienation is the 5th one, but I don't know the year it was published. I do know 10 years, so IA 32. Beatrice has suggested I continue feeding in novels. For breadth, I disagree. So here's my contribution. The first volume of Eisenbard. Okay, so first off,
All right then.
let's IA 32 should be Rampage.
Rampage?
She didn't sound sure.
Where was this thing made? What was it for?
It was built to break German war codes in 1943.
So the second book is Swords in the Dark.
Swords in the Dark.
So the first volume of Eisenbard Arklovich's Rampage cycle, the King of Great Britain discovered a long-buried spaceship by the shores of Lake Windermere. Soon the king has been kidnapped and only his beloved queen can save him from thrashing pits of the moon. The second book, Swords in the Dark, was published very quickly. I'll bet that too, after Arklovovich wrote slower. He had only planned so far. Yeah, so yeah, this isn't the right one. It didn't unlock, so maybe Rampage is the title of the final one.
Rampage?
Nope. Okay. But let's try the one we know for sure is IA 33, which will be Swords in the Dark. I have made good on my word. Here's Eisenbard Arklovovich's second Rampage novel. Lady Guinevere is taken by space
I know this
pirates.
one's title, I think.
Yes, thank you. I was getting there. This is Swords in the Dark.
Swords in the Dark?
No salty.
Salt, he cried. What kind of palace is this? Salt does not keep well in space, the lady replied only. It goes as sour as warm milk.
I've made good on my word. Here's Eisenbard Arklovovich's Rampage novel. Lady Guinevere is taken by space pirates. The hero, roaming the canals of Mars, looks for a way to go deeper. He will find the sleeping knights, astronauts for the battle. the Glen of Galileo will bring.
The Glen of Galileo.
Probably the third book. This machine is carved through profound mysteries and deadly ones, but in making sense of this, it meets its match. Okay, fair enough. Note appended. Okay, so how come...
All right then.
How come the first one isn't Rampage?
Rampage?
Nope. It's a negative. Alright,
Some of this stuff looks like real crap.
Yeah, well, I guess a lot of books are. I don't know how carefully Calderley thought about what he was doing.
nope. So let's take a look at what titles I haven't found. Quite a few. These red ones, do these have annotations or notations that I could possibly look at?
I cannot fix on the hour, or the spot, or the look, or the words which laid the foundation. It is too long ago. I was in the middle before I knew that I had begun.
Okay, I got it. The note appended, so the first one, the main one will be the first got it, will be the user who wrote the original note, and then there's additional logs. And this one is Elise, which is AL12. Okay, so a classic for sure, but Pride and Prejudice is here for its impact. For example, the title of Time and Temporality. And its impact on later writers, in particular, I think Emma Kendrick. She quotes the opening of this novel in the frontispiece of her penultimate novel in 65. So, Emma Kendrick, 65. Another novel, there are too many of these in here now, they're like weeds. Mrs. Kendrick writes well enough, a Chinese immigrant finds beauty in woods, but what does that have to say about matters of importance? I hear the review, volume 56, claimed her husband wrote this. I think they don't know her older work. The title alone gives it away. In 1936, Pre-Marriages, Dead Voice.
Dead Voice.
So, is that this one?
Dead Voice?
No. Case closed. Oh, okay, so this is her Dead Voice in 1936 will be another novel by Emma Kendrick. Okay, so let's look at what Elise has to say about this. Her last book was better though, if a bit weird. I finally found a copy. It was published the year Dad died. Okay, so Cecil, when did Cecil die? Do we not have his years listed? So Quentin, we know when he died. Okay, hang on. So, volume 56.
Literary Review, volume 56.
All right. So I don't know the title of this, but I do know that Dead Voice will be in 1936. So Emma Kendrick, if my fingers are on the right keys, Emma Kendrick, 36 will be Dead Voice. Nope.
What happened to this thing after the war ended?
The machine was moved from Bletchley to Manchester, but it disappeared. A few years later, it's down here. Bigger. More powerful. Hidden.
I need her maiden name. I need her maiden name.
Okay, let's see.
Born Emma McFleur. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna be able to assign this one to Dead Voice.
Dead Voice.
Doomwild, will that be Doomwild?
Doomwild?
No. Okay. I don't know where Doomwild came from. Begone, spirit, unless you have something to tell me. Come closer, for you seem familiar to my eye.
Come closer, for you seem familiar to my eye.
Okay, a novel by Emma McFleur. A medium can see ghosts of people who have not died yet. They tell her how they died, and so she is able to save them. Until the medium herself dies, only to tell herself how to avoid it. The paradox ends the book. 8 years later, E.M., married, changed her name. Perhaps she had a child. 8 years after that, age 43, she restarted her novelist career a second time. She kept the naming scheme from her earlier work. Dead Voice. Interesting. Volume 56. So this is 65, so hang on.
Alright then.
Literary Review 56, so let's try Literary Review and for the year 65. Got an achievement for finding 20 years.
This one's easy to name.
Yep. Thank you, game.
Okay, let's see.
Thank you. I was
Literary
getting to
Review, Volume 56.
Yep. If you'd let me figure it out on my own, please. The novel, ostensibly written by Miss Kendrick, but clearly written by...
Written by her prolific husband, in an attempt to escape the stigma now attached to his name, goes so far as to have its protagonist outright a woman, disguised as a man, throughout most of this ludicrous book.
Alright, the novel, ostensibly Miss Kendrick's, but clearly written by her prolific husband, in an attempt to escape the stigma now attached to his name, goes so far as to have its protagonist outright a woman disguised as a man through most of this ludicrous book. So they were saying that her husband wrote it under her name. Then they say green work marks the nadir.
Green Walker.
Pink and Kendrick's work. Imagine Mrs. Kendrick's fury. I wouldn't be the editor of the literary review when she releases her next. Her power is growing. Greenwalker.
How did it get down here?
You've been down there for a while, Abby.
Right. So, how come I'm down here and you're not?
You're the specialist. If you can't find what we're after, no one can.
Some of these sources seem more important than others.
There are books referenced here that don't exist anywhere else. Books from previous revisions, stored here. Somehow. Permanently.
Greenwalker. So was is Greenwalker EK65 Greenwalker?
Greenwalker.
Yep, okay. So let's go back to EK65.
Jin knew that to leave the path was to commit a great transgression, but the call of every rock and shrub was too strong. At least no one was watching.
Jin knew that to leave the path was to commit a great transgression, but the call of every rock and shrub was too strong. At least no one was watching. Okay, so... yeah, so I'm making progress here. There's these codes here, which I think is like the number of what it is in the archive. Hardbound book, 60 pages, titled Greenwalker. EM36.
Beyond spirit. Unless you have something to tell me. Come closer, for you seem familiar to my eye.
Okay, if I go into my notes, I notice some of these have red marks beside them, and is that because I haven't found stuff? So let's go to Academicalist Journal 20. So 1.
Let's begin with a
Okay, alchemy, Wicca, ley lines, words are chemical elements seeking to bond. Even better, we pare back reality's flesh to find the stony truth inside. An annual investigation. Yeah, so I think those red marks indicate that I haven't expanded the codes on it. We've seen this before. Revisions. What about RC89? Would Rampaging Christ give me something? But let's check out CC11. Okay. Oh no, I've seen this. List exists for this publisher, but I don't know how to unlock a list. What about Rampaging Christ 89? Yes? Yes?
Now, yes, scream if you have to. It does not matter for tomorrow. We will rise like thrown spears to rain down on the unrighteous.
The lower you go now, the greater your ascension will be.
So once again, that reading is so soft volume-wise, I'm just going to read it again. Bow, yes, scrape if you have to, it does not matter, for tomorrow we will rise like thrown spears to rain down upon the unrighteous. The lower you go now, the greater your ascension will be.
You still there?
Still here. Waiting.
The Church of the Rampaging Christ sounds like a violent missionary organization. It is not. It is an anti-scientific body dedicated to the destruction of knowledge itself for the betterment of human segregation. A dark spin-off of Tennyson's Metaphysical Society. Christ would not, I think, have approved the use of his name. This pamphlet is not recorded here from a desire to preserve this group's ideas, but to serve as a lighthouse for future generations. A tower on the foundering rocks. Steer away. Avoid the rhetoric of the closed-minded, for the universe will ever fold itself tightly enough to meet these people's needs. What did Cecil have to additionally to say? The author was probably Icewhistle. I cannot recommend his 1932 Succeed either. A terrible namesake to have. He's still alive. He published something this very year. Icewhistle. What do we know about Icewhistle? Erstwhistle. Cecil's namesake? So he's a Cecil Erstwhistle, possibly? Yeah, so yep. Good call, notes. So Screed, his 1932 Screed. So he published something this year. What year was this? 89, so... Cecil Erstwhistle, 89. Oh no, that was written in 1974. That additional was written in 74.
In a world of fools and cretins, of shifting ideologies and wavering belief, a good fixed man is like a tree in a storm, firm and strong, until finally he breaks.
Alright, in a world of fools and cretins, of shifting ideologies and wavering belief, a good fixed man is like a tree in a storm, firm and strong until finally he breaks. Once a nincompoop, forever a nincompoop. Trees have deep anchoring, well-considered roots, and they lose branches to protect the trunk. I hope to meet Erstwhile one day so I can steal his crayons. If he ever read GA00, I would eat an ICB. We still don't know what... I've read GA00. I mean, I found it in the archive, but I don't know what it is. But we're going to go back because I want to find...
Yes, scream if you have to. It does not matter. For tomorrow, we will ride like thrown spears.
Alright, 1932. So, Cecil Erstwhile, 32.
I see problems. They move like woodlice, scuttling into the cracks in society.
I see problems, they move like woodlice scuttling into the cracks in society. Cecil Erstwhile is best known for hurting Anglo-Gaelic relations by destroying the only draft of Lamarck's masterpiece revisions. It's a shame he did not destroy his own writings instead. To call this document of corrections foul is to insult rotting corpses and festering sewage, both of whom have a necessary place in the scheme of things. A world without Erstwhile's contribution would be a world improved, as he has recently confirmed, a tadpole of a man. My copy, with a bonus tucked inside, JS38. I would love to know how it came to be there. So first off, before I click that, Who is this? He's barely mentioned. Pierre Latour. I need to know his death. But the reason I came in here is okay, so I found both of his. I found all of his published work, it said. But I also want to see so we don't have titles for his work, just pamphlets. So JS38, what is JS38?
Oh, that rat bastard. He turned you against me, Mayflower. But that wasn't enough. He had to destroy me, my reputation, and my mind. Hell hath no pit deep enough, but I suppose he will have written himself into heaven. Look, I know how it works as well as him.
It's rare for this archive to file a letter, but this letter, written by Silverton to Kendrick in 1938, is too intriguing to pass up. Her reply from the following year is equally remarkable. Five years later, Silverton was dead with only one more publication to his sorry name. So this was 1938, written by Silverton to Kendrick. Break code is Emma Kendrick, or Emma S. 92. Okay, yep. So she must have married again. Yep. Hammerstone Press relaunched in 1956. So I can do Hammerstone Press 56 potentially. Okay, Silverton, J.S. Silverton, okay. To Kendrick, probably Emma Kendrick. Right? Yeah, so to Emma Kendrick in 1938. Her reply from the following year, so E.M. Hang on. She didn't, born Emma McClure. So, yeah, she's gonna be E.M. before 1944. And this was 38, so 39. Emma McClure, 39. A letter.
I don't deny it, we were close once. But I find it hard to imagine now. Whatever we had, it's gone, like the frost of winter. I intend to marry him once we have
This remarkable machine deduced who this letter was written for using LR53. LR53. Let's expand Cecil's note. And the recipient would try one more last desperate time a year later, so JS40.
What we eat, we devour. What opens, holds. Bindings cannot lift. Reality hangs like a darkened cloth over our eyes. Mourn it.
Here it is, Silverton's final work, never published. He handwrote one copy, this copy, and he sent it to Kendrick. But Kendrick didn't even open it. He was too busy courting the woman Silverton was in love with, so it lay untouched until 1973. I know that's when Kendrick found it because his final novel, 1973, Men Must Devour, written in 73, published the year after. Silverton died 3 years later, 40 years old, ignominious beaten, a year after the Kendricks were wed. Oh man. So I can get Men Must Devour, but I'm moving farther away from that other command. So what is Kendrick's full name? Not Emma. Pinken. PK 1974. Men Must Devour. Okay, I got it.
Men Must Devour.
He reads the letter, and it is like pepper on his eyes. He clutches at his face. Still there, he thinks. Like hatred, boiled down to little bits, small enough to snort. A foul cocaine.
So this is obviously referring to the letter that was sent to, the letter that was basically sent to his wife from this other person. The plot, a professor reads an ancient book, but it is a weapon and it eats his mind from the inside. His wife cannot help him. The whole thing is told by the professor himself as his mind folds up on itself. It ends mid-sentence with the professor apologizing to his wife for doing the same to her years before. A year after the publication of this maniac book, Pinken Kendrick was committed to the institution where he later died. Why? Unclear. His widow only said it was a deeply personal matter, but if this archive proves anything, it's that all matter is personal. Nothing exists outside of the people who observe it. For example, 2 years later, her novel about a nurse tending to victims of an insane war. I miss you, Dad. So this is Elise who did this one. I did catalog a card under AC if you can read them.
There's nothing here. It's worthless.
Alright, so I'm gonna go back.
He reads the letter, and it is like pepper on his eyes. He clutches at his face. Still there, he thinks. Like...
There's more to find from that one, but I'm gonna come back here.
We devour. What opens, holds. Bindings cannot lift. Reality hangs like a darkened cloth over our eyes. Mourn it.
Hang on, Cecil and Elise both commented on this. There's something very wrong with this letter. I have not been able to shake its words from my mind. There's something even more wrong about the letter he wrote after this one, Father. He wrote one after this. Interesting. Okay, I want to go back, keep going back, because there was another path I wanted to follow.
I don't deny it, we were close once. But I find it hard to imagine now. Whatever we had is gone, like the frost of winter. I intend to marry him once we have enough money. Do not contact me again.
Okay, so what is LR-53? This remarkable machine deduced who this letter was for using LR-53. Years of debunking has left literary... Oh, it's literary review. Years of hard debunking has left literary review jaded, but sometimes they get a juicy bone to gnaw. Volume 44.
Literary review, volume 44. Literary review, volume 44.
All right, got it.
Yes, Kendrick was known for his quick wit and roving eye, but what was less well known was that he was a sucker punch if you smiled at him. The first woman to figure this out was Emma Mayflower, and she took him to Martina's.
Yes, Kendrick was known for his quick wit and roving eye, but what was less well known was that he was a sucker punch if you smiled at him. The first woman to figure this out was Emma Mayflower, and she took him to the cleaners. So literary review really didn't like Emma Mayflower / Emma Kendrick. Volume 44 details how Kendrick's research was stolen in the late 20s when the professor had an inappropriate affair with a student. The man has no shame. In the shadow of a passage, he spills it.
In the shadow of a passage.
He spills it, garters and all. But Kendrick doesn't point the finger at who was the mastermind behind the theft. The review does, Joshua Silverton. They celebrate this in volume 50 as a historical event of the timeline significance. Here come the 60s.
Literary review, volume 50.
All right, so I believe this is a Joshua Silverton book. Probably the same year? Or no? So, I think this is gonna be PK-53. Nope. How about JS-53? Nope. Okay, so in the shadow of a passage, he spills it, garters and all. Okay, but literary review 50, so that's going to be 6 years, so LR-59. Will be literary review 50.
Literary review, volume 50.
We seek not to be a reflection of what is being produced, but rather a beacon, showing what ought to be made.
Volume 50 sets out a new mission for the review. No more spiritualism, no more talking to the dead with candles and smoke. 1900 values are out. From now on, it's all about science and talking to the dead with telephones and radio sets. Oh, boy. Then they start tearing apart the mystics, and the first line in my HP 56, a cheap copy, well, it's true enough, but I'll live on. They might celebrate, but so can I. This archive's hit a milestone. I'll make a separate entry for that under CC 59. The machine is 10-year-olds today. Recent additions, XY78, extremely old. A signed edition of IA's Rampages, Swords in the Dark. The machine is improving slowly but steadily. It is more truthful in its associations. The truth approaches it. Dorothy Pemberton wrote in her 96 walk, I see through the walls. Printed pages, all of them. What manner of things would the mind be had the principle of writing never been discovered? Cecil had something to say. I am thunderstruck. The machine informs me that the signature of my copy of IA-33 matches that of JA-38. So, IA is Silverton? Interesting. XY78.
When a single man imagines a better future.
Matter in the dark.
I believe this is matter
Matter
in the dark.
dark?
Nope, apparently not. Xavier Youngman wrote Matter in the Dark like he was guessing. He writes this book like he knows, but for him it is too late. If only I could live again, he bemoans, what I might show the world. Pemberton swears this volume changed her life. How she found it is unclear. How obscure academic work ended up in a child's bookshelf after... How does an obscure academic work end up in a child's bookshelf after 18 years? I think she is mistaken, modest, or hiding something. I think Dorothea was the genius, and Youngman was the talented amateur. Beatrice. What's Beatrice's code? B47. The machine has been behaving very oddly since this book was fed in. It must have given it strange dreams, like cheese does to Cecil. Oh, no. Alright, So, XY78 is very old. A signed edition of IA's Rampages in the Dark, Swords in the Dark. Dorothea Pemberton wrote in 96. IA and JS38 is identical signatures, or matching signatures. IA-33. Where's Rampages? IA-33. Yep, okay. So I'd already identified that. JS-38.
Oh, that bastard. He turned you against me, Mayflower. Even that wasn't enough. He had to destroy me, my reputation, and my mind. Hell hath no pit deep enough, but I suppose he will have written himself into heaven. So, I know how it works as well as him.
I'm gonna try 5 years later he's dead with only one more publication to his name. So JS, so 5 years after 38 is 43?
Cause of death, mental deterioration.
This archive is no place for a death certificate, but this one is striking. I felt the machine needed to see it. This is what Lamarchants would call a K-vision. I'm certain of it. A consequent reality. See, quantum conceptuals in nature.
Quantum conceptuals in nature.
and the Pen of Galileo.
The Pen of Galileo.
If you doubt me. So this is a death certificate.
Oh, that bastard. He turned you against me, Mayflower. But that wasn't enough. He had to destroy me, my reputation.
So Dorothy Pemberton, 96.
All right then.
This is something about a walk. All right. Dorothy Pemberton was a genius, a visionary, and very ill 15-year-old when In My Dreams was written. Her ideas lived longer than she did. Silverton used them in 29. Supposedly he did. I have suspicions, but I need to source a copy so the machine can confirm. I think Pemberton also met Quentin LeMarchant. A few years before her death in 1911, she was sent to France for heirs, but she wrote only that one last essay, can't be sure. In 1901 or 1911?
I have been to France. I have spoken to the greatest minds of our generation, and I am assured of just one thing.
So this is Irrationals. What thing? I have to know, but she does not say. Only this, the hidden stuff of the universe are ideas themselves. This was LeMarchant's conclusion as well. I think Pemberton meant LeMarchant. You can see her fingerprints on his 11 paper. Okay, Quentin LeMarchant 11. I think I've been there, but I could follow that. Cecil and Elise both had more to say on this. What I have done, I should never have fed this in. I heard the machine murmuring lines from Pemberton to itself. Whatever was in this book, it is in the wiring now. It sees through the walls. Does God know what else it might do? How does a bedridden Victorian woman travel to France and start meeting famous academics anyways? I think she dreamt the whole thing up. LaMarche 11. The biggest ideas start small, except in this case. He goes on to state he has seen this effect work and it can be done, as he puts it, at scale. Chose those two words, I think, are what signed his death warrant an unlucky number of years later. Dark forces are drawn to scale. Okay, Dad, you love this one. It's as bonkers as Catfish. I read a book I should not have read. Now my ideas are not my own. They grip me. Published by LeMarchant's widow after he died, age 68, she claims his notes will allow him, upon his return, to continue his discoveries uninterrupted. I bet the fevered ideas here inspired Professor Kendrick, both in his fiction and his academic stuff. See issue 16 of the Academicalist journal, which covers Kendrick's marvelous 1932 rant about dark matter. I remember when you got AJ-26, Dad, you tore it apart like a child unwrapping a Christmas present. So it's directing me to issue 16. Also, it's telling me I have this title. Matter in the Dark, is that it?
Matter in the Dark?
Nope. Okay. It was a good guess. So, issue 16.
This is a miracle. I do not wish to be shot for it. I choose to be shot for more serious matters.
There's a brief mention of a DEME book, Internal Oversight, published that year, but they don't say by who. I think a full review's in issue 17. Also, a belated attack on Pink and Kendrick's doomed follow-up to Temporality Waits for No Man. Internal Oversight. So it's telling me I can assign the title. After he died. Okay. Published after he died, so that makes sense. So what was that? Title? Internal Oversight. Here we go.
Internal Oversight?
Nope. And what does DME mean? I'm trying to remember. (1924), age 68. What is AJ 26?
Welcome to the home of rational thought. Let's begin with a couple of examples.
Revisions.
Okay, let's see.
QL24. Revisions? Or do we have revisions already? QL18 is revisions. It's not Rampage. But I bet you our earliest IA is the Glen of Galileo.
The Glen of Galileo?
Nope. Guess not. Okay, so revisions is QL18.
performance of DMEs will not be measured from historical information, only inferred. Plotting revision events and computing the correlation coefficient, a startling result emerges.
There was a final version of revisions. It was destroyed. Issue 1, which is AJ26. So QL24 is the final version of revisions.
Let's begin with
A Life Unlived is by Monsieur Latour's daughter, 2 years after he passed. So Monsieur Latour died the year after, so 46 years. So 60, 72. Gonna try something. Nope. I'm kind of hitting a dead end there, so let's take a look at Academicalist Journal number 36. So our latest Academicalist journal is 45. So 19 years later. Is 50, 64, AJ 64. Let's see what that has to say. Nope. Did I do the math right? Oh, here's the codes. Here's the codes I found. So LA 57, what does this do? Okay. So hang on, let's so Academicalist journal is AJ 45. So 36. Should be 19 years later. 50, 64. Yeah. So there's something else missing here. Also, who is his daughter? (1926 to 1970) published ran for 37, so we'd skip some more years, huh? I thought we only skipped the war years, but so 1907 ran for only 37 issues. 1970. So, AJ 36 should be, let's try 69. Nope. What about AJ 70 just for kicks? Yep. So this should be issue 37.
Academicalist Journal, issue Academicalist Journal, issue 37.
Okay, yep.
I would like to point out that the results of the landing are still a matter of debate in the scientific community. It's way too soon to say we are safe, whatever that is even supposed to mean.
I would like to point out that the results of the landing are still a matter of debate in the scientific community. It is way too soon to say we are safe, whatever that is even supposed to mean. The moon landing did not cause an ice age due to orbital shift. Pierre Latour's great prediction from issue 36 had failed. Am I gonna need to remember the year of the moon landing? Pierre Latour's reputation for wisdom was in tatters. He skipped 69. I didn't, and came back with this one last issue, 37. He talks about how much things have changed since the periodical began. It's true. Witchcraft has all but died out in favor of cold science. Latour, now 72, was ill. He died the next year. I need to find the name of his daughter, but let's try AJ 68. Which will get us to Academicalist Journal 36.
Academicalist Journal, issue 36.
Emerton writes with such force and passion. It is hard to remember. She was very ill all of her life. And when she writes about her illness, it is with such force as though she is constraining herself to it. From an early age, she constructed this most tragic narrative, and then she committed to it unrelentingly, almost gleefully.
Pemberton writes with such force and passion, it is hard to remember she was very ill all her life. And when she writes about her illness, it is with such force that she is constraining herself to it, as though she is constraining herself to it. From an early age, she constructed this most tragic narrative, then committed to it unrelentingly, almost gleefully. So, Pierre Latour, editor-in-chief, knew for certain the coming moon landing would cause the end of life on Earth. But will he publish again next year? Issue 36 is fire and brimstone throughout. There's a weirdly funereal photograph of Latour with his 26-year-old daughter, Ursula, getting her doctorate from Oxford. Both look furious. The last page is given over to Dorothea Pemberton, a full recounting from her first publication in 1896 through her death in 1911 to her later communications. Okay, so later communications after 1911? Okay, so I know about DP11. I've been there, I'm pretty sure. What I want to do is get back to the note about his daughter, so UL is the code we're looking for. Hang on. First off, let's do 70. So 71 is the year he died. So 73, so UL 73 is A Life Unlived. Ursula Latour 73. Yes, I know the title of this one. Don't tell me, game. A Life Unlived.
On A Life Unlived.
All sources by Ursula Latour,
My
Agent
father
Hood.
was an imbecile. Imagine living with that inside your genetic code, and knowing nothing you ever do will get rid of it.
So, Ursula Latour writes, my father was an imbecile. Imagine living with that inside your genetic code, and knowing nothing you will ever do will get rid of it. Well, the good news is, Ursula, is that intelligence is more tied to experience than to genetics, and studies have shown that, so you're fine. A short, violently angry pamphlet aimed by its author at all fathers everywhere who have the temerity to ignore the needs of their children, having troubled themselves to father... a short, violently angry pamphlet aimed by its author at all fathers everywhere who have the temerity to ignore the needs of their children, having troubled themselves to father them. It lays out, point by point, a series of crimes committed by the author's father against her own person. Most of these crimes come down to negligence, as it seems that Monsieur Latour was so busy editing his journal and discoursing with its contributors that he paid little attention to his own daughter, her development, and her needs. With the lack of a mother, thanks to the war, though you wouldn't know it if you'd read her father's account of the period published the year after he died, the 31-year-old author declares every one of her own failures, then lays it firmly at her father's feet. The pamphlet itself ran 500 copies and were sent to the mailing addresses of subscribers to her father's journal. My understanding is that the one in my library is now one of only a score that were not destroyed as preposterous nonsense. Miss you, Dad. So that was Elise. Yep.
Welcome to the home of rational thought. Let's begin with a control sign.
There's a lot of codes based off of this. List. Hang on. I think I potentially have a code for this. LA57, would that be list? Nope. What just happened?
He had believed that the machine could benefit humankind, but the longer it ran, the clearer it became that humankind stood forever on a line, with those at the front taking the largest share. So, to put all the value in a single place was to starve those who could never reach the front.
Have I seen CC-49?
And so, the work begins in earnest.
Interesting. So, B advises caution the scientific approach. I disagree. Pemberton 1900 bids us to understand the universe as the surface of a pool. We must stand... So Pemberton wrote something in 1900. Have I seen that? I'm not sure. What does Elise have to say about this? I remember you, Father, sitting in front of this machine, skinning wires and tying them tight. I remember you, Father, ripping pages from the Bible itself.
The Bible?
And feeding them one by one into a slot, trying to teach your precious machine to believe. I remember watching your back before I could walk, Father, chewing on glass vacuum tubes because you weren't looking. It seems to me one day you went inside too. I'm curious. Is GA00 the Bible?
The Bible?
It is. Okay. Let's go back to GA00. BA47 thought to include this book as a reference point. Should it change? I hope, no. Then again, perhaps it is already too late. Things are in motion under the unwinking gaze. I apologize for the spurious author and date. Oh, God 00, got it. God Almighty 00. Yep, it made me chuckle. The machine has taken it more seriously. Alright, let's go back. And AL12. I remember you, Father, sitting. Yep. So, all right. So, be advises. So, Pemberton 1900. That's what I wanted to focus on right there. Pemberton 1900. What is Pemberton's full name? Was it Dorothea? I think it was Dorothea. Yeah, Dorothea. So, DP00. Dorothea Pemberton's book is eclectic. She quotes RS-83. Long John Silver, she insists, Long John Silver, she insists, is a real person. Certainly more real than I. Joshua Silver came along later. Coincidence, I think. But even he was only real for a time. I don't have a title here, but Long John Silver, RS-83 will be Treasure Island. Robert Stevenson, 83. Yep, got it.
50 men on the dead man's chest. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum. Drink and the devil had done for the rest. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum.
Stevenson's Treasure Island. Irrelevant despite a mention in An Image in Water.
An Image in Water.
But it is Beatrice's favorite book. She says she will name her children after the pirates. First William Billy Bones, then Pew, then Long John. But not Jim. That is too plain. It is absurdity. We must aim for girls. Got it. So BE47, please. Girls? Oh, really? If that's what your intention, dear sweet Cecil, then why don't you do something about it, you love-struck fool? Henry doesn't stop asking, and one day I will say yes to him, only to spite you. And so I did. Okay. Henry, who's Henry? Do we not have Henry? Nope. I kind of want to see if there's a Hammerstone Press 1956. There is. The Hammerstone's imprint came up for sale. Name, rights, and old stock, all the way back to the Hammerstone Manifesto.
The Hammerstone Manifesto.
HPO6?
The Hammerstone Manifesto.
Got it. Thank you. I'll get back there soon. And including HPO8 and HP22. LR detested these books so much they got their editor killed. Primitive Man, He Who Remains. The setup.
Primitive Man, He Who Remains.
Utopia Within Reach, the punch.
Utopia Within Reach.
A publication was needed to finalize the sale, so I built So I built a way to make copies from the machine, ran out Astral Perplexities.
Astral Perplexities.
It came out close to Quentin LaMarche's original, oddly different. Okay. So HP08 and HP22. Let's go to the Hammerstone Manifesto first.
Okay, let's see.
Now,
the world must be ready to hear things which are shocking, which are transgressive, which upset and undermine our understanding of reality itself, without punishing the author of the text for their radical thinking. Hammerstone is named after the effect such writing will have.
Hammerstone's press verse. The idea was to offer anonymous publication to allow writers to speak without committing their reputation to their work. For 2 years starting in 08, they tried it. Then they faltered. Anonymity turned out to be negotiable, meanwhile. So list. I'm gonna try something. LI57. Yes, list. LI57 is list. List exists for this publisher.
Perplexing Astrality.
So, these are the Hammerstone ones. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to previous. This is Hammerstone. HP 56 is Perplexing Astrology. Yes. Astrality.
Perplexing Astrality.
Beautiful.
Why do we? Well, to be elsewhere. To change this world out for another. How long does this change last? Well, as long as it takes for the glow of the words to fade from our eyes. Here's what I've learned. The more we read, the more truth gets created. What a splendid thing.
Okay, well, this is where I'm gonna pause. Thank you so much for watching this. If you enjoy my content, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.